My name is Tina Hilding, and I live at 411 North Howard Street in Fort Russell, which falls within the half-mile radius of the proposed parking for the project. Mayor Lambert and members of the City Council, thank you for the opportunity to speak with you this evening. I am appealing the CUP because the Board of Adjustment did not adequately consider the proposed uses conflict with the city's comprehensive plan or the cumulative impacts of adding an additional educational institution in Moscow CBD as was required. As we all do, I truly love Moscow and its downtown. In your deliberations this evening, I ask that you consider just how special this community is. Many small towns in our region and across the country struggle with downtowns that are shuttered, and there are very few with thriving downtowns. We're pretty rare. And this was not an accident. Moscow has made many important land use decisions that have helped the community thrive. We all appreciate the terrific community that our Moscow leaders envisioned and created over several generations of leadership. In particular, city leaders carefully protected the downtown area as its most intensive commercial zone, unquote. They decided to keep downtown for commercial, retail, and residential uses, and with one exception in 2008, to keep educational uses outside the CBD. At the April 25th CUP hearing, the Board of Adjustment had insufficient information and was unable to adequately consider 2 points for this important land use decision. Specifically, 1, as outlined in the relevant criteria and standards, the proposed use should be consistent with the city's comprehensive plan. At the April 25th hearing, Tim Edwards, NSA Dean of Students, outlined a vision for Moscow's downtown that directly conflicts with the city's comprehensive plan. He said NSA envisions Moscow becoming like Oxford, England, and that education should take place in the community, not cut off from it. He added that he was excited to see NSA become, quote, established in downtown Moscow. In its application in regards to Criterion 7, NSA only said that they proposed to significantly enhance the, quote, cultural environment, unquote, of Moscow and the CBD. Such a vision in Moscow would dramatically transform the economic potential of downtown from the way it is described in the current comprehensive plan. That is, the downtown is meant as a location for, quote, dining, entertainment, and specialty retail, unquote, as well as a center of gravity for target industries of financial services, healthcare, real estate, and tourism. The board did not adequately consider this large contradiction of NSA's expansion plan and the vision of the city's comprehensive plan as required by Criteria 7 of the relevant criteria and standards. 2, the cumulative impacts of an additional education institution in the CBD as required by Moscow City Code. NSA started in 1994, eventually purchasing property and moving into Friendship Square in 2003. At that time, educational uses were not allowed in the CBD, and NSA became the first educational institution to receive such a conditional use permit 5 years later in 2008. At that time, the city limited enrollment to 200 students due to, quote, parking and other issues, unquote. At the April 25th hearing, there was no discussion regarding the cumulative impacts of more than doubling the enrollment, and specifically, why the enrollment in the first CUP was limited. The board did not discuss how the additional students will move back and forth between the two campuses, which could affect compliance with the first CUP. There was no discussion regarding the enrollment numbers and number of educational institutions that might be appropriate for the CBD. There was incomplete information on NSA's parking footprint and its impact on the availability of retail and office space. Finally, the board did not fully consider the impact of permanently removing potential commercial, residential, and retail space from the CBD, particularly at a time when the CBD is growing and thriving. The proposed use would preclude the potential opportunity for future retail, office, or residential use in that space. Because these 2 important considerations were overlooked, I would request that the Council remand the CUP application back to the Board so they can further consider 1, the cumulative impacts of an additional education institution in the CBD, and 2, its compliance with the city's comprehensive plan. I would welcome any questions. Thank you.